Hey guys, hello, Keep It Dirty Off-Road. Today we're at HM Suspension to show you guys something really cool. Hey guys, hello, Keep It Dirty Off-Road, and thanks to Raptor Junkies today, we got exclusive access to a really cool build here at HM Suspension. This right here is Keno's truck from Raptor Junkies. We're going to give you guys a quick overview of what this is, very quickly show you guys the key highlights, stuff that I'm gushing over on this truck, and then we're going to show you what's coming next from these guys too. Everything I've seen so far on this thing impresses me, from the way it's all reinforced. It takes care of all the weak points that I have bent with my truck multiple times. So it's just something else. It's completely unique. So what am I looking at here as far as the suspension? What are we running as far as shocks?
So these are proprietary design shocks by King or HM specs. In the front, you're looking at a 10-inch, 3.5 bypass, 3-tube. Behind it is running a 2.5-inch coil, also by 10-inch. And this has also custom springs top and bottom. We got those made by Ibach.
Why the dual springs?
This is a race coil, so the top spring is for your smaller bumps and whatnot, and the lower one is your main spring. So that kind of helps a lot on working on some of the chatter on the trails and on the street too.
Okay, and you said it's a 3-tube, right? So 2 down, 1 up?
Correct.
Okay,
and you can go more, but it's like overkill on this setup.
And I see you also got a bump stop here too as well.
This is a 2.5 by 2.5 bump set at 75 PSI.
What are these made out of?
Everything in the kit, including the overlays for the reinforcement, is made of chromoly. We don't use any stamped steel in any of this process.
These work with the stock rotors, right?
Actually, we're using the stock hub. We're using stock replacement rotors. I'm using the R1 kit with the posi pads. These are custom tie rods, billet aluminum tie rods. They're actually made here in the shop. And these are 300M extended axles used with the stock parts to put them back together and put on the truck. We also use the IWE eliminate kit.
Okay, and a key point that I want to highlight here is the level of reinforcement. Reinforcement is on the inside of the lower control arms, which is key. There's reinforcement on the front of the frame.
The outside as well.
Yep, there's also reinforcement on the outside. Now, the back is also very much reinforced. I'm looking at limiting straps back here, which is really cool. Extra reinforcement on that lower control arm, again, both inside and out. Airframe reinforcement. And there's an actual bolt hole now, right, for the lower skid plate?
It was easier to do it than keep the finicky one that comes from Ford.
All right, Kevin. So what kind of joints are we looking at here at the top and bottom of the kit?
Those are 1.5-inch COM 24s, same size we run on the trophy trucks. We ran basically the big balls on the bottom since the inception of the kit. But originally it had 1 inch on the top side. But the weight of the trucks, these trucks are heavy. They just kept blowing them out. So we ended up going to the bigger joints top and bottom, which is more of a cost, but it definitely adds a lot more longevity to it.
So I asked this question to Keno, but why the dual shocks on the coilover?
You mean the dual springs?
Yeah, the dual springs, yeah.
It gives you a better ride, gives you a better rate, a more progressive rate. So you're not just stuck with one linear rate, you know, you're actually got a progressive, a little softer on the chop.
And last question, which is really important to me, is how the hell did you guys achieve no rubbing on the pinch welds on this kit, man? How did you guys do that?
Geometry-wise, we moved everything forward. So it's all been moved forward to be able to accommodate the larger tire and not interfere with the steering angles too, though.
Now, does the suspension move up and to the back slightly like stock, or did you change that?
It still does, yeah, because it still has the anti-dive built into the top arm, just like the factory.
So a couple things to show you guys. The stock coil bucket is completely gone, right? This is all re-engineered, and that thing right there ties it to the other side. What do you call that, Keno?
This is a cross brace that ties both sides of the frame together so the frame don't buckle in. Especially when you have larger, stronger bypasses like these and shocks, you're going to put a lot of pressure on the suspension on the frame. You need to make sure you have all the reinforcements in place.
Now the level of reinforcement on this thing is insane. You got plates in the back, which I've seen before on other kits, but this thing also has plates up front to reinforce the whole front end. There's plates right here in the back to take care of that. Both sides of your lower control arm mounts are reinforced, both on the inside and the outside, man. That's the level of reinforcement that I wanted on my truck. I can
show you on the Elite trucks a much better reinforcement picture, but it's the same exact one that you both have the same DNA frame.
Yeah, and I think that's what's key. The DNA of this elite truck is sitting on this. I mean, just look at all that extra reinforcement.
So all of these are chromoly plates across the entire front section of the frame, the upper section of the frame, and this alone took about 3 hours aside to make sure that that goes in place, because this is a really weak point on these frames.
Yeah.
Very weak point. So
I think if I remember right, this is one of the points on the frame that's designed to buckle.
correct.
Right? And for off-roading, that's not good. We can't have that. But look at the level of reinforcement. Inside, outside, and this. Nobody does this. I can't tell you how much I've wanted to do something like this on my truck.
And most actually do more of what they call the slot delete, just so they can lock your alignment. And I really didn't see reinforcements before, which is why I chose to go with this product instead.
Now, the arm on this is the same as the arm over there, right?
Exact arm, except this is an inch shorter. So this is the Elite, and this gets 96-inch wide overall suspension with the zero offset wheels.
So what's that over there?
This is a 94, but it has
94.
the same exact engineering, the same exact design, the same reinforcement, the same uprights, except this upright is a two-wheel drive, mine is a 4x4.
Look at that. Look at all that space. And one area that I want to point out to everybody. You see that? Pinch welds are intact. Now, for a lot of you guys that don't understand how important that is, if you run 37s on a Raptor, regardless of the suspension configuration, you have to trim those with everybody else's kits. You don't have to do that with this kit. And that's a big plus, because those pinch welds, once they start getting cut and bent, they introduce so much extra noise to the cab, and it just really ruins the really comfortable ride of these trucks. So that's a big one for me. That's awesome to see.
One of the things I want to point out is look at the angle of this arm, and then also look at the preload on the springs. There's actually no preload. This is as clean a setup as you can get. This is the closest to 50-50 ratio, which is what you really want to achieve and to get the most of up and down travel on your setup.
So for the rest of us, what that means is that front end is not at a crazy angle to start, to kind of cheat the whole process of the suspension. And I'm going to show you what I mean in my truck. So this is my truck, and look at the angle of this arm. Now I'm cheating by using the iBox.
These give you an 1 3/4 lift button.
Right, so these right here, I'm already cheating to preload my suspension to kind of avoid the bump. While that is a good low-cost solution, in the long term, to do it right, you want to do what this suspension is showing over here. With the angles of that arm almost being completely straight, that's the right way. I mean, look at that. Like he was saying, 50-50, that's a much better setup. Now, you guys would be wondering, where does this fit as far as the current ecosystem of off-road builds? Well, if you look at the different levels, we have your stock setups that just basically replace upper control arms and maybe doing shocks, but you're still dealing with the stock suspension travel. Your next level up, bolt-on kit. We're replacing the upper and lower control arms. We're starting to do bigger shocks, cut up the back end. The next level after that would be like a luxury pre-runner. Cage build, full crazy setup, linked in the back, and as close as you can get to a street legal race truck. And then the final level being race trucks. Sky's the limit on what those guys can do. This truck right here fits in between a luxury pre-runner and your bolt-on kit. It's a very new, very unique solution. It takes reinforcement, it takes suspension travel, it takes geometry to a whole new level. I think it's really gonna change the way we all look at upgrading our Raptor. Now this right here, guys, is just the beginning. This is just the front suspension. They're also doing a rear suspension for these trucks. I'm gonna give you guys a quick preview of that rear suspension as it's being built now. Sneak peek alert. So if you look at the back, we got their new bed cage, and notice how it goes all the way to the end. That's key. You guys saw me do this with my rack. They're doing it right here, and they're going to be doing 18-inch shocks. And look at these monsters going into this truck. Look at this. Look at this. These are King Kongs. King Kongs 4.0 going into this truck. When you guys build this, you guys will have a couple options. You'll be able to pick between 3.5s and 4s.
I don't see them on a building.
What are you talking about?
Those are King Kongs. They're not on buildings.
Yeah, but look at the size of them.
Yeah, but they're not on buildings.
I don't care. It's still called a King Kong.
I bet I could take that in an airplane, no?
Probably. These kits are available now. So if you guys want one, get a hold of us at keepitdirtyoffroad@gmail.com. We're going to be helping HM selling these products. Just keep in mind, there is a list already developing for these kits. They're going to be in very high demand, so get in as soon as you can so you can get your truck in line and get one of the baddest kits on the market for the Raptor. Hope you guys like this video. Put your questions and comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. And we're going to see you guys on the next one. More content coming with this badass truck from HM Suspension.
going to say that the rabbit's foot, I kind of like this.
It's called the dead cat.
It's a dead
I
kid.
thought it was a rabbit's foot.
Dead cat.
There's the dead wombat too.
Very
Dead
nice.
wombat.
For the bigger ones.
For the size queens.
The rabbit foot.
Dead cat.
The rabbit's foot.
Dead cat.
The rabbit foot.
Dead cat.
Whatever.
The industry term is dead cat.
We'll argue about it later. Rabbit's foot or dead cat?
What?
Rabbit's foot or dead cat? The mic. The mic. It looks like a fucking rabbit's foot.
Yeah.
Or a dead cat. He has a lot of cats, which is probably why he kills them. I don't know.
They're called dead cats.
Remember the old Star Trek, the Furby thingies that they had? Remember that? Like
Tribbles.
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 Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Actually,